plaintiff, Sierra McNeil, says she had a one-night stand with the defendant after meeting on social media. Sierra insists she ended up pregnant with the defendant's baby, but the defendant has doubts about fathering her child, so she petitioned the court for a DNA test. Defendant Jimmy Mitchell says when he first met Sierra in person, he thought she had a baby bump, but he didn't say anything because he didn't want to insult her. Jimmy claims now Sierra wants to put him on child support, so he's eager to take the paternity test to find out the truth.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
All right, you all have a child, how old?
She just turned 1 November 5th.
1, and you believe the defendant is the father?
Yes.
And you don't believe you're the father?
Sketchy.
Okay, you're not absolutely sure?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're gonna help you all get the answer.
Okay.
And the child is yours. Can you afford the child?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you
yes,
work?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You work?
I'm a tattoo artist.
Okay.
I got a shop.
Mm-hmm. Where at?
On Cosman and Jackson.
In Chicago?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They make plenty money.
Yes, sir.
If you have a good business going.
If I'm focused.
Huh? If you're focused. That's right.
Yes, sir.
You have any other children?
Yes, sir.
How many?
2.
Any in the household with you? Any of them live with you?
No, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. You take care of them?
Yes, sir.
You don't have any child support issues?
Not yet.
No. You may be on to something there. But the 2 that you are sure are your children. You don't have any child support issues?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, good. Good to hear that. So that's good news, isn't it?
Yes.
Sounds like he's a responsible father. Are you working, or what's your status?
I work in my daughter's daycare.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great place to work.
Yes.
My wife operated 5 preschools. She started with 1. She started as a preschool education director at one of the top gifted schools in Detroit. Then she left there, opened her own, and I had confidence in her. And even though she quit her job to start a business, and I had to carry the entire weight for a while, but she opened 5, and then she began carrying the weight for a while until I got elected judge. So, and our children all went there.
Okay.
Saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's what I was getting around to. You're saving money. You know what you're doing.
Yes.
How many children you have? Just
1.
the 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Let me hear from you on your relationship.
Okay, well, it was never a relationship. Let me just get that out. It was a one-night stand, but...
When?
Huh?
When was that one-night stand, approximately?
Around...
What month?
March 2016.
All right. Where did you all meet and have this one-night stand? How did that occur?
We met through Facebook, and the way he was talking good. You know, like the stuff he was saying was good. So it
like what?
He was just like, you come over here, we could go out to eat. I'll take you out to eat. We'll have us a nice time. And I'm like,
haven't had that meal yet, have you? All right, so go ahead.
We was drinking with some wine and watching Lifetime. It was something.
You'll have to tell me what you were watching.
We was watching something, and one thing led to another, and then we had sex.
Okay.
A month later, that's when I found out I was pregnant. I went to the doctor for something else, for my fractured pinky, and they said that I was pregnant.
All right, and before we get to the reaction that he had, let me allow you to give some background, sir.
Yes, sir. We met over Facebook, and then I walked to the train to get Miss Sierra. But then, you know, I wouldn't bash it because I don't know whether that's my baby or not, and I don't want to say nothing to disrespect her. But, you know, I did notice, you know, like a little baby bump. you know, but I ain't never say nothing, just in my head, like my head kept telling me, look, look, look. So, you know, I ain't say nothing, and then we went to get something to eat from the restaurant, but Sierra went to 2 restaurants, and she ate both of the meals, like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but we had a good time, I'm sure. But then the morning we walked to the train, Sierra seen she seen the change every time we go back to the train. Like, we'll be cool walking, but then she starts just snapping when she walking up the platform. You know what I mean?
Okay. Ma'am, he sounds so honest, but, you know, he could...
Nice guy.
Yeah, and a nice guy and everything, and appreciate you.
That's
You
how he sounded.
respectful. He says he didn't want to say anything to disrespect you. He was very respectful with me, which people who are like that, they get the best treatment. People who are the opposite get told off very harshly. And y'all think I'm crazy the way I'm talking to these folks, but that's how I talk to people who are disrespectful toward me. So you have some convincing to do. Go ahead.
When I first found out, I called him. I was like, I'm pregnant. He said, who baby is that? And I said, it's your baby, because I had took a picture when I was at his house, and I even showed him all the dates that like led up to the conception, because it's the 3-day conception. I had to think, I'm like, was I with somebody? And I was like, no, those 3 days lead to when I was with him. Mm-hmm. So I even showed him the picture, and I showed him all the evidence that I had. He still was like denying me and everything. Then one time I asked him for some money for the baby shower. At first he had $100. Then he go say the bank came and got the money.
How many months were you pregnant?
6 months.
6 months pregnant.
6 and a half.
In your opinion, offering money or gifts for a baby shower meant he was acknowledging the paternity.
He used to, sometimes he'd be like, what you doing, baby mama? Or let's get it. Like, he said that sometimes.
Okay. You say he's acknowledged it in the past. So when did he begin to question it, and why do you believe he did that?
So he used to question it back and forth. Something wrong with him. I regret even doing something with him.
What's wrong
I'm
with
not
him?
gonna lie. Something, when I tell
what
you
does he do to indicate something's wrong with him?
Okay, one day he'll be like, that's my baby. And then one day he was like, but if we can't get a quickie when you come get this money, then I'm not gonna believe you.
Sir, you tell me what happened from the time she said to you she was pregnant by you.
Okay. When I found out Miss McNeil was pregnant...
how did you find out? She called you?
Yes, sir. She called me, but I wasn't seeing her. I hadn't seen her till now. So I only seen her 2-3 times since that she supposed to have been pregnant. I never, denied the baby far as she could hear. Never denied the baby to her because...
Well, how did we get here today?
Because she was finna put me on child support, really.
So you wanted to make sure...
I think she wanted to make sure, too.
Okay, so before you go down to child support agency. Yeah. All right, then did you ever dispute it with her? She says you extort her for sex.
No, sir.
She said
No,
you tell her unless you're going to come over here, I'm going to deny the baby.
No, sir, I wouldn't extort her for sex. I really even asked her for, because she don't even, you know what I mean? When we having sex, when we having sex, you know, she don't really let me do my thing.
I don't need to know all that. All right, so you've never denied outright?
No, sir. No, sir, because I know even if I deny right here and it end up being my baby, that the baby may see it. So I wouldn't really say nothing to go against me when it comes to the baby. Or her, because she a woman, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're probably one of the best fathers that I've had in here. Or I should say potential father. Because everything you're saying, most people don't say it and they don't feel. They express things and I have to tell them, hey, your child is going to hear this one day.
Yes, sir.
Hey, don't talk about the mother like that. Your child might hear this one day. So for you to recognize all that, number one, you're a smart and considerate man.
I mean,
so we
appreciate
appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're nice and considerate and smiling young lady. Nice smile. So we got a good guy and a good woman. So, you want to go and get the results and we'll see. Let him read it. You read it out loud.
Oh, yep, it say Jimmy is not the father.
99.9% probability that he is not the father. All right, ma'am. So, got a little more work to do, but I'm sure by your actions that you're going to continue being adamant about making sure you're certain. All right. Good luck to you both.
I'm sorry about that, Jimmy. I just want to say I apologize.
I give you a hug.
Plaintiff Barbara Baca dated the defendant for 9 months, but they broke up due to the defendant's destructive lifestyle. Barbara claims soon after the breakup, she discovered she was pregnant, and she does not know if the defendant is her son's father. So she petitioned the court for a paternity test. Defendant Darnell Thomas says when Barbara got pregnant, she told him he was not her child's father. So he moved out of state and has never seen the child. However, recently Barbara told him he may be the father. So Darnell is anxiously awaiting today's test results.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you. You give me some background.
Darnell and I met in August of 2009, and we started dating. We were together about 9 months. I noticed that he was living a destructive lifestyle, wanting to party and not really wanting to be a father at the time. We weren't planning it, that's for sure. We broke up in August of 2010, and I started dating someone else and came up pregnant in September of that year. We were unsure that Darnell is definitely the father, and so that's why I'm here today.
You're unsure if he's the father. Did you all reconcile at some point, your relationship?
Yes,
Was
actually.
involved in the child's life, contribute financially? Give me some background there.
Darnell went with me to the first ultrasound for the baby and seemed pretty excited and what have you. So we got back together, but we were only together about maybe 2 or 3 weeks when I noticed his behavior hadn't changed. And I myself have never known or even seen my father. So I wouldn't want for our son to be in the same boat.
So what did happen? He saw the child and
No.
was involved?
He has not seen our son. My son is 6 years old. He just had a birthday. And I told him that he wasn't the father in order to not have the lifestyle in the family with the new kid.
But it may not be the truth. He may be the father.
Yes.
Yet you told him he wasn't.
Yes.
Because you didn't want him associated with the struggle. You just said all he was doing was partying.
Yeah, well.
Going to parties every night.
Wanting to party.
And for that, he can't meet his child.
Well, I didn't want him to be in a drug situation.
Okay, you didn't tell me that. What type of drugs?
Well, he was using marijuana and crack and alcohol,
that's a lot
you know,
different.
and it kind of takes you away from being a father. Now he seems to have changed his life for the better. We're hoping. And
Yeah, but
I'd
to
like
tell him it wasn't his child, ma'am, that was a little extreme. I mean, did that rehabilitate him? Or that sounds like that would drive you more into a crack addiction.
Well, actually,
I'd want more crack. If I was on crack a little and my woman, whom I presume was bearing my child, if I was on crack a little and she told me, no, this is not your child, I would get on crack a lot. I would become a crackhead.
Me too.
I
double down.
Yeah, I double down. I go from crack light to crack heavy.
Well, actually, when I did have the baby, Darnell disappeared. I hadn't been able to find him. he left the
He's on
state.
crack, and he got deeper
married.
when you told him that. So he looks like he has recovered now. I can tell a crackhead when I see him, and you don't
No,
look.
he don't look
and
like
you don't
one.
look like one. Obviously, if you were a user, you've recovered. I don't know. Perhaps you haven't used. Maybe she's kind of making that up because he had another boyfriend. That was the reason she didn't want you to come around. Wanted the other boyfriend to come around and told you that the child wasn't yours because she wanted to make sure the other boyfriend stayed. Didn't care if you ran off because you were smoking a little crack. And then when she told you couldn't see the child anymore, you smoked a lot of crack and became a crackhead. But hopefully now you've changed your life and you're recovering. So you tell me though, I don't know, but I think I might be right on a couple of those points. But I'll let you tell me.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Me and Barbara, we dated. Everything started out good, you know. She just started acting, you know, weird, wouldn't let me go out to my family's house. She accused me of messing around with my brother's wife, which it wasn't true. So I ended up moving back, you know, to Texas, and she stayed in Albuquerque, and she told me that the baby wasn't mine. So what's the point of me staying if it's not mine? But here recently, I've been in contact with him. He wants me to move back in.
How did you resume a relationship with her or the child?
Well, I was currently incarcerated, and
You were currently
Yes.
you're free. This is just the courtroom.
okay.
This is just the courtroom.
Well, I was incarcerated.
You were incarcerated.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I was incarcerated, and
Currently, go ahead.
she found me. She found me, and she wrote me letters, sent me pictures of my son, and that I'm thinking is supposed to be my son.
Mm-hmm.
So I took those and I took them to my heart. And you know, since I
Even
got
though
it,
she had told you earlier in
Yes.
life there wasn't your son.
yes, sir. And so, you know, I talked to him since I've been out. I've talked to him. I talked to her. She said she still loves me. She wants me to get back together. You know,
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna let you all talk that out then,
Yes,
because I don't want to make nothing happen. Were you a crack addict?
Yes, sir, I was. I was going through, you know, bad times at the time. You know, I got right. I'm
Good.
clean and sober.
Good. How long have you been clean?
About 4 years now.
That's right. Good. Recovering. Good.
And I just, you know, I just love my son. If it's my son, I want my son to be in my life, and I can, you know, spend my life with him, and you know, spend my life with Barbara and see where it leads us.
Good. Is that the way you feel?
Yes, absolutely.
What happened to the other man? Don't you have some questions? Go ahead and answer what you want to know.
So, what happened to the other man? I mean, what? I don't know what happened.
Well, actually, he just stayed away, didn't want to have a child. And as the child was getting older, he started looking more like you and a lot of me.
So if
So now-
if the baby's mine, can I get back in his life and we can start a family?
Yes, absolutely.
What if the baby's not yours?
Well, if it's not mine, I'm gonna do my best to still take care of him.
That's great. I do have a picture of our son.
Yeah.
Like you
And
to
ma'am, I
see
gotta
him.
tell you, that's real love.
Maybe give us a.
Very few men would feel the way he's feeling. That's real love. You all haven't been together in how long?
Some years.
For years?
6 years to be exact.
Ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna come in and take that. I ain't seen you in 6 years, and you done told me, and this guy done run off, and now you talking about, no. You're a good man. Hopefully the child is yours, but either way, you've expressed what your position is, and that's great. You're a great man. All of us aren't that great.
No, I agree.
All right. Looks like his mom. Definitely looks like a cross between you two, but, you know, I don't mean to be funny, but a lot of folks like to date people that look the same way as their ex.
Right?
So let's go and see, Doyle, if you go and get results. Who wants to read them? I'm not going to read them.
I read him.
Who wants to know
I read 'em.
first?
I read him.
He wants to know first. He's more excited to know whether this is his son. All right. Don't hand him to me. I ain't been with it. I ain't had nothing to do with it. Hand it to him. That's his results.
All right, all right.
We're having fun, but are you the father, though?
It says possibility of paternity, 99.9.
All right. Congratulations. All right, there you go. You got your family. Just give a hug to your mate and glad to see you.
There he is.
Probably nervous.
Yeah. See, Jonah, this is your daddy.
Hey, come on, son. What you doing? Good. I'm happy to see you, man. Gosh, man, you got big.
Hopefully Darnell and I and Jonah all together can be a family and be right beside each other.
I'm so excited, man. Words can't express right now. I got my son, got my woman, so everything's looking up.
Plaintiff Carlos Fernandez says while dating the defendant, he caught her having sex with another man. Carlos claims he broke up with the defendant after he caught her cheating, and he's suing her today for unreturned property, a loan, and emotional distress. Defendant Crystal Quinones insists Carlos cheated on her 7 times with multiple women, and he once had another woman in her home while she was in the hospital having surgery. Crystal is countersuing because she claims Carlos has been stalking and harassing her.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you, sir.
I've been with Crystal from August of 2017. We were together for a while. Things, go up and down, whatever, how a relationship goes and stuff. And the thing that got me was that I didn't want to be with her no more, but I caught her cheating on me physically.
You were cheating.
Your Honor, I was going to the house, and I actually, when nobody answered the door, I went to the side and I seen her naked with dude having sex.
In whose house?
By her new house that she just had. Well, I helped her get by helping her with a little money to get a place.
What'd you do when you saw that?
I didn't know what to do. It was so much going through my mind.
You walked away, hopefully?
And I did walk away.
Good.
And I went back to the car, went back home, called her on the phone, asked her, what was that I just saw? She didn't want to say nothing. She said, JC, leave me alone, eat it, take it. You cheated on me, this and that. It's not like that, I never physically cheated on this woman.
He's cheated.
You see him with his clothes
He's cheated
up?
7 times with multiple women. I have pictures of the women inside my home. I was getting surgery, and he had a woman in my home while I was getting surgery at the hospital.
So you said you do the same, have a man
No,
in
I did
in
not
your
cheat
home?
on him, sir. I
Oh,
was
you
not
didn't
with
have-
him at the time. He did not help me get my apartment. I had a job of my own to get my own apartment. He was just stalking me while we were
Let me let him
separated.
finish his opening remarks. Go ahead.
So, the money that I got from my boss, it was a borrow, and she was gonna give me money back, like $200, whenever she had the chance to do that. So when she did do, like I said, she just moved into her place, and at that time,
Why'd you all break up?
because
you
I
cheated.
seen her, she cheated on me,
That's the instance? You never went back after that?
no.
When did that happen?
This was back in January, sir.
January of
She
20?
just moved into the place. She just moved into there.
And that's why you broke up?
Yeah, I done too much.
Why do you
for
say
her.
you broke up?
Because he's an alcoholic, sir. He stays up to 5, 6 in the morning, expects me to be his babysitter. He expects me to be a maid, cook, clean, and I work a 10-hour shift at a bakery. I do sanitation. I'm tired from work. I expect to come home, lay down, relax.
You told him all that when you left?
Yes, we were in together since October. It was done in October.
Okay,
It
October
wasn't-
19?
October of 2019, it was done.
And you told him I'm leaving or he left?
I left him.
That's
I
what
didn't
I'm
want
saying.
nothing to do with him
Did you tell him you
anymore.
were leaving?
Yes, he knew that.
Did you tell him why you were leaving?
He knew a lot. He knew it was about the sex. He knew it about more than what he's describing.
You told him why, though? You told him that?
He knows,
Okay.
yes, and I'm very blunt with it.
You keep saying he knows. I keep asking you, did you tell him?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what have you been doing since the breakup? Have you all been in touch much since
No,
then?
I've been doing my work and going home like I usually do. And the drinking part is, Your Honor, everybody's allowed to be entitled to have drinks, and I do it at home. I don't want to be outside at no bar or do nothing crazy. I'll drink, and if I do, I'll have a little pint or something and be at home. I don't bother nobody. I keep it to myself.
And when you drink, do you get violent or
No, I don't, Your Honor.
anything?
I keep to myself.
What problem did you have with him drinking?
He does not drink a pint. He drinks a gallon. And if he's done with the gallon, he needs another gallon. And he needs the liquor with a chaser inside of it. Okay.
And then what does he
stays
do?
up to 5, 6 in the morning. I'll go to sleep around 12, and he wakes me up out of my sleep for me to keep him company. And then I'll say, excuse me, I'm trying to get sleep. I got to go to work. And he wouldn't care. He'll fall. He'll hurt himself while he's drunk. Act dumb while he's drunk.
Okay.
People take advantage of him while he's drunk. I
She
felt
was
like I
doing
was
that.
his babysitter.
I said you were the one taking advantage.
I was not taking advantage of nothing.
She did not want me to have
I've
any
had a
female
job
friends
since I
at
got
all.
with him.
I could not have no female friends. I couldn't even see my own daughter. Okay, she wanted everything for herself.
Come on, stop that.
She wanted everything for herself.
He's
Your Honor,
lying.
I am not lying to you. Everybody was gone until this day they are. And it's like, come on, you was telling me to keep all these people away and stuff like that. And
Why was she telling you that? What would
Because
she
she
say
did
the
not-
reason was?
She didn't like them. She didn't like who I was
Why don't
around.
you
She
tell
didn't
the
like the
truth?
fact that people were taking from me. If I'm giving somebody something, I want to do it out the kind of my heart. Let me do what I do. You don't tell me how to, do this and do that and do this and do that. I mean, I'm trying. I'm trying to work on myself. I had a bad, upbringing, getting whooped and all this other stuff. I don't want to put that in there, but just her took advantage of just my kindness and everything else. And that's why when I seen her cheat on me, Your Honor, it was best to walk away and leave it alone instead of just staying in there.
It's not cheating if you're not together.
Yeah.
And then her looking at my phone, she would get me drunk if there was time, like on my birthday. She gave me 2 bottles. Okay, and she got me drunk. What she do? Go through my phone. What are you going through my phone for? You don't pay my phone. You shouldn't. That's my personal thing. I don't go to your phone. Well, she would never have a phone because she sleeps with it in her hand. That's when she was by the house.
Do you, ma'am?
Lies.
Yeah, that's a whole lie. That's a whole lie. So anyway, she was on and off in my house, and she was living by her mom.
Let me finish, ma'am.
And that's where she got her own place. Because she said she didn't want to be there no more. So I said, I'll help you get out so you can get your own place. And that's why it was back and forth.
Okay, and
Good rough, man.
all right, and we're going to get to the property and the loan you're suing about. Any last introductory remarks before we get to the specifics?
Yes, because he sits there and paints this picture that I was cheating on him, and I was not cheating on him, for one.
Okay.
For two, he sits here and he says that I was using him for money. Ever since I've been with him, I had a job,
No, you didn't.
and I took care of myself.
No, you
My mom, my dad, I got a letter from my job from him harassing me at my job, okay? It's not, whatever he's telling you is definitely a lie. I did not cheat on him. I was not with him. I did keep it very blunt with him that I do not want to be with him. I'm sick. I was going through pre-symptoms of stomach cancer at the time. He had a woman in my house getting drunk at the time with him while I was in the hospital getting my surgery. That's when I left him in October. I haven't been with him back. He came in Christmas to take his stuff back in front of my mom's. Okay, I gave him back the stuff, and when I got my apartment, he returned the stuff back to me because he gave them to me as a gift.
Let me hear from you about both the property, the loan. What happened?
Well, day I was trying to get my stuff back. I did.
When was that approximately, if you can recall?
It was like January.
Okay,
Yeah,
January
because, yeah,
of
around that time.
2020.
Around that time somewhere, I think, because I did get in contact with him, and I asked her, I said, can I get my stuff back? If you look on one of these papers, where did I put the paper at? On 20, you can see that I made a text message. I got in contact with her on the 8th, and she hits me back like on the 15th or 16th. It's like, you waited a long time to let me know. And she put a no contact order on that from the 8th.
Did you, ma'am?
I've never contacted him.
No, did you put a order against him? Did you
He
get
has a restraining order. Yes, he does. He had a restraining order. I did file a restraining order against him.
Why?
Because he was stalking me. He was parked outside of my house sleeping. He put a GPS in the car following me where I was going.
Did you,
He's
sir?
parked outside my job.
That was my car. She was driving my
No,
car with
that
no
was
license.
my car.
No, I have
Right.
GPS. When she made that phone call to the police, and that was a false report, the police told me that when she made that report, it was false because she didn't answer the door when they went there. And then it says that at this point, she's not willing to give nothing back, so it will become a civil matter.
Okay, ma'am, why did you say you weren't willing to give it back?
The TV was a gift for my birthday. The fireplace was a gift for Christmas. And on Christmas, he came and got it all back.
No.
He was showing up in my house every time. Okay, I wasn't hanging with nobody. I wasn't doing any of that. I was being actually loyal and faithful. I thought
Why do you
maybe,
think he's suing you then?
Well, he's suing me because he wants the stuff back. Okay.
You said you gave it back.
I did, and he gave it back to me.
Oh.
That's what I'm telling you. He came to my house on Christmas Day and took everything
You
back.
said I was with her. I'll tell her about
With
the
his
part where
father
I
and
gave
his
her- I
cousin.
gave
You
her-
got it back and then gave it back?
No, I gave her a ring. We both, she
All right.
had my chairs and we put it in my car. Yeah, we did that, but she still had my stuff. But
How
she
did it
didn't
get to
tell you
my
the part
house?
about
How did it get to my house? Tell the truth. How did
in
it
the
get to my
truck,
house?
in
Because
the
you
truck.
took it back.
In the
Did you,
truck.
had you
Yes,
already
'cause
taken
he
that
took it to my
back?
house.
No, she had my other stuff that I had to return. But she didn't tell you the part that I was telling you too, that how did I get engaged with her? I asked her to marry me.
With a
And she
fake
still had-
engagement ring that cost $2.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, because you went and praised it and you found it
Yeah,
on your own.
sure.
I didn't know that
Yeah, you sure
I didn't know
did
that I had
ask me
it.
to marry you. You
It
sure
doesn't
did.
matter.
For
I
a
didn't do
$2
anything
ring,
wrong, Your
exactly.
Honor.
Just keep quiet.
Oh wow, see, that's wrong,
It's
man.
the thought
I
that
had to live with
No,
that.
it
man.
was not the thought that counted. He did it because I broke up with him and I found him cheating. He did it out of
Your
something
Honor,
that he
I
thought I
never
was going
cheated
to
on her
forgive him
physically.
for.
I never did that to her. And why would I do that? It's not wrong. I did whatever I could for her. I did without to provide for her and help her.
So the property, let's go over it again. Ma'am, you say you gave it back
Yes, I
at
gave it
first.
back.
Then he gave it back to you.
He gave it to me and he came to my house. We broke up in October, okay? A reason why I broke up with him is that every holiday he throws a tantrum and he storms out my family's home. My family asks me what's wrong, and I say, I don't know. He always uses his growing up like for an excuse. I grew up too, and you know what? I can't hold that against nobody. Okay, so he was using it against my family. My family is a very home welcoming family. We do holidays together. It's normal for your daughter to come with her boyfriend and spend time with the family. He's always messed it up for me. Okay, that was the first thing. That's why I broke up with him. Then in late night when he gets drunk, he's always texting. He's always that. So I was going through. Yeah, I did go through his phone. Yes, I did. I did go through his phone, and guess what? It showed me the truth. What I was suspecting.
No.
He was texting other women. Okay, he was going to see other women. You tell me, is your wife okay with you buying another woman a pack of Pampers? Is your wife okay with you taking care of somebody else's
Friends, Your
child?
Honor, friends.
No, I'm not gonna be with a man that's gonna take care of another woman. I'm not. That's not okay. That's not
No,
okay.
no,
And that's
it's-
not
it's
okay
friends,
for
it's
another woman
friends.
to drive your car.
It's
It's not
friends,
okay
man.
for another woman to sleep. And he uses the friends. Okay,
Yeah, 'cause
yes,
that's what they
friends.
are.
But if you go in his phone, he's got videos of her in her panties with a shirt, him blowing kisses at her, her
Bathing
blowing
suit,
kisses
Your
back.
Honor.
You know,
Open
stuff
picture.
like that.
That's what friends are
Okay,
for.
but that's what friends are for,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay. So I gave up on him and I told him that I didn't want to be with him no more. We
No.
were trying to work it out around Thanksgiving and Christmas. We were trying to work it out, okay? But it wasn't working. It wasn't working. And he knows that it was becoming more toxic. And it was making me more sick than I was already. So when he came to my house on Christmas Day, everybody got presents, and guess what I got? I got a U-Haul with his father and his cousin to pick up his stuff. I
On
gave
Christmas
him back,
Day?
On Christmas Day. On Christmas
true?
Day.
All the stuff that I
On
had there,
Christmas
yes.
Day.
You went
On
with a
Christmas
U-Haul
Day.
on Christmas Day,
On
sir.
Christmas Day.
Why?
I'm gonna tell you why, because
No,
I
hold
can't
on.
trust
You
her. I
had your
can't
time
trust
to
her 'cause
talk.
she was willing to do whatever, so I had to surprise her and take my stuff. That's what I
No,
did.
no.
She would've
Bro, you
damaged my
ain't
stuff.
Santa Claus. You think you might
would've
be.
do- she
Santa
would've
Claus
damaged
beard
it.
is white. You got
She
everything
would've
but the
damaged it,
beard.
Your Honor.
So I thought everything was okay on Christmas because we were trying to work it out, right?
No.
So he bring me lunch, he bring me Chinese food. So I said thank you. I gave him a kiss, and right when I get ready to close the door, he pushes the door up and he says, "Nah,
All my stuff.
I want my stuff."
Yeah.
Unpaid loan. Tell me about the loan.
That was a loan that I borrowed from my boss to give to help her out with a place that she rented for $900, and she said that she was going to help me pay it back. She said she was okay.
When was
with it.
that?
Probably the last January.
Okay, and when did she say she would repay you?
Whenever she could, but then that's when all this happened, and whatever. I'm not getting nothing now, so
You don't think she would give you something?
No. I asked her. I was like, "What was going to happen?" Nothing.
What'd she say?
Just nothing. I figured since all this happened.
You all have all these documents. You have anything in those documents where you all had a conversation about the money?
No.
Because I never had no money from
What do those documents indicate? What evidence do you have there? What are you proving there?
This is
because that's all those papers, and you don't have one word about the loan.
All these papers are just like from text messages and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And protecting myself from what I saw.
Any of those text messages say, "Where's my 900?"
No, sir.
Ma'am, tell me about the loan.
I've never got a loan from him, so I don't even know what he's talking about.
And you tell me about the harassment. You're countersuing him for $5,000.
Carlos has contacted my job for over 6 to 7 months. I have a letter from my job, my employer. Number 3 is a letter.
Did you contact her job?
No, I didn't, sir. I didn't call her. I don't talk to her. I don't say nothing to her. I leave her alone.
My job verifies that they identified him as talking. He also got the chance to talk to my supervisor and my lead, and he got to talk to H&R, which everybody has identified him, which the letter is proving it.
I don't know how that's possible.
It's number 3. And then because
Carlos
I went to the job,
has been identified by 3 different
people
as incessantly calling the employee emergency line on January. He did so without an emergency. When the employee would answer, he would ask to speak to Crystal.
Man, they're gonna lie for you, man.
Also, I have a letter which is number page 2, which is from my agent that he kept contacting her, stipulating that I was doing all this crime activities.
No,
and she made me come in that day. She gave me 24 hours to come in, and at that she didn't even give me the whole 24. She gave me 10 to 5 hours to make it to her office to do a drug assessment test, which I had to do 3 tests that day, which I passed. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So that was page 2.
He called me to inquire about getting items back from her.
Yep.
Which he was informed. You called her probation officer about
Yes, I did, because that was a way to contact. He said contact, and that's when I told you I contacted her on the 8th just to get my stuff back.
He was
that was a
stalking me,
message
sir.
that I had.
You should have just sued her as you have, sir. You don't do that. You
That's
don't
all
have
I
to call
said.
a person's work, go to a person's work, call anybody that has authority or jurisdiction over her life. They could have locked her up for this, sir. Who is this page 7? Who is that, ma'am, talking?
Page 7 is him. These are the wonderful texts that I received.
B, Crystal, you're the biggest H in Racine.
Yes.
I'll beat your A, bum A, B.
Mm-hmm. And I was
ugly
receiving those
A.
on multiple occasions.
My.
Here. Yeah, I got the rest of those messages.
You do all this, sir.
So I have.
No,
page
sir, I
8.
did not.
Your number is on here.
Exactly.
That's not my phone number. That's a text message.
also-
How do you know?
Because
Yeah.
it was. I
How do
found
you
out
know?
that it was a text
Exactly.
message.
How you know what?
Exactly. How does he know? Right. So also on page 13, when I filed my restraining order against him to leave me alone because he was stalking me, he went behind and he filed a restraining order behind me, stating that I was taking advantage of him, making him do sexual acts to me, and that I was abusing him. Yes.
No.
I was forcing him.
Let me see that one. Let me see that
So
one.
that's
I can't.
It's page 13.
Y'all done threw me off my game now.
Okay. Page 15, I have a picture. It's one of the girls that he cheated on me with, and not only including he was messing with her sister, which is the new girl that is texting me now.
You know,
Should've
those
never
pictures
come
are
in
off
here,
my
sir.
phone that she has.
Okay.
Those are friends. It don't matter. Why you got
whatever.
pictures off my
But she's
phone?
in her shirt and her panties.
It doesn't
Please,
matter.
bathing suit. Okay, back to page 16 now I am. Page 16.
You had to listen to her like this for how many years?
I didn't want to be with her
For
no
3
more.
years? You're a pistol.
I don't want to be with her.
No, and I wasn't even
It
with him
was
for
worse.
3 years.
It was worse than that?
Yeah.
Oh, so
I had
worse.
to deal with her.
So worse.
You rough.
It's not that I'm rough.
But you
I'm
make
just
your
not-
point. You make
I'm
your
not going to
point.
sit there and have somebody walk all over me or
Yeah,
to
like you done to
use an
me.
excuse because I left him. Now these girls convinced him to do all this stuff, and now he's suing me for gifts that he gave me.
Based on the testimony I've heard, I believe you on the 900. And based on her story, that you took your furniture and then you brought it back to give to her. I don't believe that. I'm going to give you $2,500 for that and $900 for the loan. That comes to $3,400. It's your judgment. However, you're way out of line, sir. You made some very, very big mistakes.
I know that.
Calling her probation officer, calling her job. People can't do that. That can destroy folks' lives, sir.
Still to this day, he stops and talks
So I'm
to me.
gonna grant her $5,000 for that. $5,000 is your judgment. However, I'll give you the $3,400 that I believe you're entitled to. All right, good luck to you both. Have a good day.
Plaintiff LaRon Buckner says when he was born, he was left with a man who claimed to be his father and his adopted mother. But that man ended up murdering his mother and going to prison. Years later, the defendant reached out to LaRon, claiming she was his sister and that a different man was his biological father. So he petitioned the court for a DNA test today to find out if he and the defendant are siblings. Defendant Chantrice Johnson says she grew up knowing her father, but he didn't tell Chantrice about LaRon until 2009. Chantrice claims she was blown away to learn that she may have a brother, and she hopes the DNA test will prove they are biologically related.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
All right, and you all have come today to petition the court for a DNA test because you all are anxious to know whether you're brother and sister.
Yes, sir.
Let's hear from you. Give me some background.
Good morning, Your Honor. When I was born, I was left with someone who I was told was my biological father and my adopted mother. Unfortunately, right before my third birthday, the person that I believed was my biological father murdered my adopted mother. Subsequently, I ended up moving in. Me and my siblings grew up in that household. It was a difficult life. There was a lot of drug and alcohol abuse, a lot of gang violence. Me and my family's a little dysfunctional, but they were very caring. They made sure to shield me from the gang activity and things like that, and just told me to focus on going to school, getting a job. So when I was old enough to work, I started working. I finished high school, met my beautiful wife, and we had children. And about a month after
How many children you have?
We have 2 children, 6 and 7-year-old. Okay. About a month after my first daughter was born, I get a message from Ms. Johnson on MySpace stating that she's my sister and that we share the same father. And it completely threw me for a loop. I was 23 years old at the time. I had grown up thinking that somebody else who died in prison was my father. I never got clarification from him because of the situation. I didn't speak with him. So I was a little thrown off. I tried to communicate with them a little bit, but David, our father, was really vague and it was difficult to speak with him. I needed some answers and he wasn't able to give them to me.
I mean, what was he saying?
He kept going on about how he's a great father and that he has a huge family. And for me, it didn't make any sense because he left me with a dysfunctional situation. It wasn't like I grew up in the suburbs with a nice family that was capable.
Family.
Yeah, and the fact that I had just had my daughter, I couldn't imagine leaving her with anyone, even family members overnight. Like that just didn't cross my mind. I wanted to see every part of her growing up and make sure that I was there to guide her. So for me, him telling me that he was a great father and things like that just, was pouring salt on the wound. And at the time, I couldn't really communicate with him. As I got older, unfortunately, I developed polycystic kidney disease, which is a genetic disease. I eventually had to have my kidneys removed, and I'm on dialysis currently waiting for a transplant. But that just kind of put me in a position, a different mindset. And I wanted to make sure that I get the answers that I need so that my children don't grow up in the dark. They can know exactly where they came from, the type of people that they come from.
And the health history of the family.
Exactly. Doctors always tell you.
Why don't you give me some background?
Me and LaRon both were born in 1985. From the story that I was told, my parents were together and my father stepped out and had another child. Later on, my mom cleared that story up and my mom came after LaRon's mother and my father were together. From the age of 5 to 11, my mother left my father or David. She left David and I didn't meet him until I was 11 and he really wasn't, a predominant male role model in mine and my sister's life.
What year was that?
When I was 11? I was born in 96 because I was born in
You've been
19.
lying about your age so long you don't even know what yourself.
I don't have to lie.
Can't keep up with that lie. Go
Everyone
ahead.
always thinks I'm a baby. Even if I tell them I'm 31, they're like, no, you're not. Anyways, when I was 11, my mom flew us down to go visit my dad. And from 11 on, it's either I'll visit him every now and again when I was younger. And we stayed a little bit in contact through phone and this and that. What David told LaRon is true. He does have a very big family, but it doesn't mean nothing to the kids that are not in his circle.
Big family as in he has many children or he has siblings with many children?
On my father's side of the family, he has lots of sisters, lots of nieces and nephews and stuff. So we have quite a few cousins and stuff. But I mean, once I was 20, I moved out to Sacramento, got some history with them a little bit, but I didn't grow up with any of them. So it wasn't anything tight knit like how my mom raised me and my brother and sister. We are very tight knit. So in 2009, my father, at the time, I believe he was living in Alaska. He lived there most of my life, and I was living in Phoenix. He reached out to me on MySpace and had me connect with LaRon. And he always kind of connected through LaRon, or to LaRon through me. He never kind of did it himself.
All right. And the MySpace, how did you come about finding him on MySpace?
My dad or LaRon?
LaRon.
I never knew anything about LaRon until 2009. And my dad messaged me on MySpace and said, you have a brother, which was mind-blowing because I just can't imagine, now that I'm a parent myself, not even speaking about another child for 20-something years. And he messaged me, blew my mind. And I reached out to LaRon, and I'm a big sister, so my siblings are, very important to me. So I reached out to him. I didn't want to be too overbearing because, like I said, it's been 20 plus years. He didn't know anything about me, but I kind of opened the door and allowed him to walk through it if he wanted to.
And what if we discover that you all are not siblings?
Honestly, I mean, I would be disappointed if it's not the situation, but right now I just need it.
Why would you be disappointed?
Because
all you want is clarity.
Because at this point, I feel like, meeting her, this is the first time we met here in Chicago. She's a really nice girl. She has great kids. I have disconnected relationships with the siblings I grew up with. And it would be nice to start fresh and not have the burdens that I grew up with a new relationship with Chantrice. I wouldn't mind meeting my other siblings. Apparently he has like 6 kids, but me and Chantrice have built a relationship and I'd like to move forward with it.
Good. And you feel the same way? Good. All right. Well, you want to go and bring me the results? And you all live in separate states?
Yeah, she lives in Arizona and I live in Oregon.
Okay. So you all going to be doing a lot of internet or social media?
A lot of FaceTime.
FaceTime, there you go. Never done FaceTime until I had my grandchild. And now she's still the only one that I FaceTime. I called my wife. I said, I'm calling you to FaceTime the baby. Why do you want to FaceTime me? I've been seeing you every day for 37 years. I know well how you look. And I've only seen this baby 9 months, and I want to make sure she's seeing me regularly and I'm seeing her. Because she stays in another household. Every time I come home, you there waiting at the door. In so much trouble.
Yeah, you are.
I'll FaceTime you too, okay? All right, let's see. All right, good news is your siblings. All right. There you go. All right. There it is. A new start. Good luck to you both.
Thank
Have
you,
a good day.
At this point, we can move forward. We can really get to know each other a little bit better. I can meet my nephews and really build a relationship at this point.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I looked at him, I knew right then and there that's David Johnson, right? All in the face. So he definitely was my brother the moment I seen him. So I'm excited. I got some nieces to meet. I got a sister-in-law. So.